Apple's iconic CEO, Steve Jobs, resigns last night. I'm Jill Malandrino with The Street.
And I'm Scott Rutledge, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. And Jill, most of my community know that I trade Apple every day. I trade it from a short-term basis, an intermediate basis. I try and hold longer term, and I always am looking at the technicals of this market. So with Steve Jobs leaving, it's very important to figure out how to trade it today.
So Scott, institutions are long, retail investors are long. Everyone loves this name from technical, fundamental perspective. They're in love with the products. They love everything about Steve Jobs and what he represents. What's your trading plan today?
Well, first I want to just say my thoughts go out to his family. I hope he's feeling well. He obviously can't be feeling good at all if he's going to be resigning. And that's good that he's actually saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to turn it over to my very responsible team with Cook and Ives and the people who've been in place, probably doing more of the day-to-day than everyone knows about. So I think that we're very confident that the succession plan has been there because the street's known that he's going to be leaving. And I think institutions, mutual funds, everyone's been waiting for the day that this happens and trying to prepare for it. So now that it's here, you have to respond with an even keel. You can't get emotional. And if you don't get emotional, you actually can make a lot of money on a day like today.
Well, I think it also takes a lot of uncertainty out of the name because we've been looking for this, last year, this year, the stock will bounce on rumors whether he's around or he's not. So it takes the uncertainty out, which could be good for the stock. And also, I think when he comes in and he says, I can't do this, I can't run this the right way like I should, it lends to the confidence he has in his deeply talented bench.
I fully agree. So now the question is the trade. I'm actually long Apple, and I was using it on a short-term basis because it did hit some of my targets over the last few days. So coming in long, there are a few ways you can do it. First thing I would do is wait for the first 5-10 minutes on the open. So this way you see a short-term low be put in. You go long versus that low, so you have your defined risk, and then see how much of this gap gets filled. Because last night, the stock was down about 21 points, over 7%, into support. So I want to show you on the chart where it held last night and where it can go pretty easily. So if you look at the chart right here, this is the macro picture here. Okay, nice tight pattern well before this, held above this descending channel, nice move, consolidating. It's been strong, holding the 50-day. So last night, if you take a closer look, Apple held this recent support. I think it was as low as about 355, and now I believe it's trading around 360. So just say if it opens up around 360, I know I'm going to add to my position. I added a little bit this morning already. I want to see how much of this gap it gets filled. First things first, typically on a reactionary level, it'll go just say, if it's down $12, it'll go like $5 quick and then pause. Then if it holds higher and stays there and you see it show some relative strength versus the futures, then it can make another move to fill more of its gap. I don't think it's just going to blast off, go positive, and break out today, but I think the trade could be salvaged from a short-term basis. And if you're a long-term individual looking for an entry, I think you buy it today on this down move, give it some time, and I still think at the end of the year you could be seeing well over $400, maybe even $450.
Right, and I also think, the aftermarket is kind of like a cowboy crazy trading kind of arena. 5% down in the aftermarket, I did not think was that ugly of a move. It's off its lows this morning. Last time we checked, it's only down 4%. I think this really is a case where cooler heads will prevail. It takes all the uncertainty out, which is almost a relief in my mind. Deeply talented bench. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for newer investors to get involved that have been asking how much higher can it go, how much higher can it go? Well, here's your opportunity.
I agree. Short term, I think if you're looking for cash flow, trade it versus the first 5-10 minute low. See how much of the gap can get filled. Don't get too much too fast. There's going to be a lot of day here for a longer term investor. I think you stay long if you're long, and if you're not involved, get involved today.